Would You Rather. So Would You Rather is really about the real life adaptation of the game Would You Rather. But it's also, you know, dealing with this main girl's issue of pretty much dealing with her finances. She doesn't have a job, she can't support herself and her brother who's suffering from an illness. So now this one creepy dude just comes up and says, hey, we're gonna play a game of sorts in a mansion where you can be one of our guests, our 8th guest, and pretty much join us in a game where we just play, and you know, if you win, beat everyone else, you can make some serious banks. So, you know, come out, you know, have some fun.
I'm hosting a dinner party tomorrow night, and I'd like you to join us. I mean, there'll be other guests there, people who just haven't received a fair shake in life. And the evening will culminate with a game.
A contest.
Have some fun. And that's pretty much the movie's premise. So Would You Rather is not the worst movie I've seen in a long time. And really, I'm not a horror buff. I'm not a horror movie buff. I don't really watch horror movies. I don't watch slasher films. I don't watch the horror genre as much. I'm into thrillers, but you know, since this was a thriller in the thriller category in Netflix, you know what, let's watch it. Let's actually see what this movie's all about. And this movie was surprisingly entertaining, but also at the same time really had that potential, but really didn't achieve it at the same time, and that's the issue with this movie. But hey, regardless, let's actually talk about some of the positives in this movie. First of all, the movie's not bad. Setup at the premise was actually pretty basic. There was no overcomplication. There was no, oh my god, there's this universe of overlords that are making people play Would You Rather. But it's really that interesting setup into this in world that really makes you question, like, oh my god, that's crazy. It also poses that morality question, like, in this situation, would you do that? Would you pick that situation or that situation? And that dilemma alone really makes you question as the viewer watching this movie. It made me question many times, thinking, would I do it? Would I not? Honestly, the first thing I would say was, and if you're going to watch the movie, you know, watch it. There's no spoilers, but I'm just saying, I would kill myself. I would literally kill myself in any of the situations. Like, they're literally henchmen just pull up guns and like, do it. I'm like, pull the trigger. Like, I don't even care anymore. You're going to kill us anyway. I might as well not get tortured. Just kill me.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.
Shoot me in the head. I'm good. I'll die. And that's my choice. So if you're wondering, that's where I come in. I'm the coward, but at least I'll die without getting tortured. All right. But anywho, it's really that dilemma of what would you do? Would you do these situations or would you not? Would you choose what these players have chosen, or would you choose something else? And that dilemma alone is actually an interesting premise. If you were invited to this mansion, what would you do? And that is interesting. These characters are all in certain dilemmas. It's one thing to say, hey, you know, you want all of these players to win, but there's also a downside, is that the movie didn't really introduce us to all these characters. Sure, we got the main girl, sure, we sympathize with her situation, but if you look at everyone else, they don't really introduce their characters. It's just later on in the movie, in the mansion, you really know these characters, because other characters tell them about each other. Like, it's like they tell us about themselves rather than we as a viewer finding it out in the movie and finding out what makes them who they are. And there are times where character motivations switch. There are times when characters don't do what they want to do, and that kind of dilemma really just doesn't work in a movie like this. There are times when arcs are just dropped. There are times where characters are just dropped. There are characters just dropped out of nowhere. You don't know where this movie's going because they don't really keep the continuity perfectly. It's okay, so there's that one thing that they introduced, but it's gone now, so what are you trying to achieve here, movie? What do you want the viewer to know, movie? I'm not asking for a movie to have that, oh my god, what is life and what is love? You know, movies have done that, but you don't need to do that in a movie like this. It could be perfectly a slasher fix. But the director and the writer really had that fight. Really, you could see that the director was trying to do something more sinister, more something along the lines of suspense, because half the movie was me feeling that suspense of what is going to happen. But the writer, on the other hand, just wanted to blow his load really early. At a time, you were just thinking, what is going to happen? But then again, the writer's pretty much telling you, yeah, this is going to happen, so just hope for that. Like, literally half the time, I'm just thinking, we all know what's gonna happen, and you could say, well, watch the trailers, you know, the trailers tell you everything. I went into this movie not really watching the trailers. I just said, hey, you know, let's watch the movie for what it is. Let's not watch the trailers. You know, it's an old movie, let's check it out. But watching the movie itself really just reveals all the information before you actually get into the movie. So you know what this movie is entailing, you know how this movie is gonna go. And that just breaks the suspense for me. A lot of horror movies, a lot of slasher flicks, some of the good ones even just have that build-up, and just for half the movie it was just that build-up, and that build-up was just blowing off so early in the movie. Just you were really just saying, yeah, I kind of see where this movie is going, and really just your suspense is just brought down to a level here. And that's my issue with one of the issues with this movie. But you know, more positive is that this one actor that really shined is Jeffrey Combs. The main chick really didn't do much because it could have been played by anyone. Really, she's an expendable character, but Jeffrey Combs is the one guy that I was like, yeah, and you know what? You can be a dick. You're the douchebag, and he's the guy arranging this whole event. But he was awesome. He was the only guy that I was just like rooting for, the only guy that I was happy for. Really, every time he laughed, I was like, you're so sick, but you know, like, something about that charm makes you just likable. He's laughing along, he's having a fun time, and he should be, because that's the thing that he was trying to achieve in this movie. That's his character. So really, his character motivations and his characteristics as an actor work. It just works. So at the time, I was just like, yeah, you work. And really, the other chick is the only chick I'm actually rooting for. The main person, or main antagonist is... The only main character I was rooting for is that one girl who they explained her motivations of why she wanted to play this game in the first place. That was the only thing that made me to say, hey, you know what, win. You know what? Just beat the odds. You can do it. And that's really it. But really, the movie, the director really wanted to go for like, oh, who's gonna win? Who's gonna lose? They kind of blow it off early in the movie, and you could say, well, I'm spoiling it in this review. Why? Why are you doing this, Harrison? Why the fuck are you doing this, cheese monster? Well, you know what? If you watch the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, you can understand that, yeah, they kind of blew their load early. If they had a scene or two with every single character, maybe even a flashback, that explaining each character's motivation, because half of these characters' motivations I just forgot while I was watching the movie. In fact, if you tell me, name that one character from that movie, I'd be like, nah, I only know Jeffrey Combs' character. I really don't know anyone else. Seriously, I don't know what their motivations are besides the main person, the main chick. It's really just me figuring out why this person wanted to do this. There are times where Jeffrey Combs was like, I thought that girl was gonna win. I was like, Jeffrey Combs, if you haven't been watching the movie, you probably would say no. No, I would totally say no. At the time, I was thinking, like, there are motivations that worked. I thought, oh my god, that's really sick. Oh my god, that's crazy. Because Jeffrey Combs' character knows every single person's motivation to why they're actually playing the game. So you understand what is going on and why these characters are set up to do the choices that they are doing right now. And really watching that, I was like, yeah, it's smart, it's devilish. At a time, I was thinking, you know what? In a movie like this, it works. But the problem is, they never explain it in the beginning. They never explain it at all. So at the time, you're just wondering, okay, so you have the setup, you had the backstory, but you never made us feel for it. There are times where, you know, character motivations just switch, or at times you want me to feel for a character. That point in the movie, I'm wondering, I'm not really. I don't care if you die. You die. I honestly never gave a shit in the first place, because I don't understand why you were in this situation in the first place. So really, at that point, I thought, you know, the movie really didn't impress me at that point. It just brought it down like really low. And I feel really bad for the director, because the director actually made an attempt to make it suspenseful. Made an attempt to make like what is going to happen with the sound design and the direction and the camera angles and the shots. That time I was thinking, you know what, it is so suspenseful, and because of that, I'm actually looking at this movie saying, what is actually going to happen? At a point, I'm guessing, okay, it's going to happen like this, but maybe it won't. And it's because of how the director's actually directing the suspense of the movie. Problem is the writing doesn't match up with that. The writing is just telling us the whole story before the movie even starts. So that at that point, I just have to hold back and say, what is the point of me watching this movie? Well, I can just really skip through the major scenes and say, yeah, that's how it's gonna happen. Literally, it's me thinking that's gonna happen. It might not. Wait. It did. Okay, cool, whatever, you know, lucky guess. And then I go on to the next scene, I'm like, that's gonna happen. Oh, okay, that happened. Cool. Okay, second time's a charm, you know, maybe third time's a charm, maybe who knows. And then boom, 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 I just get everything. And I'm just thinking, what was the purpose of this movie? To make me suspenseful or to make me guess and say, oh, I won that shit and I knew that shit was gonna be in this movie. Maybe it could be because I watched so many movies, but keep in mind, this is like maybe my second, third horror movie. I haven't really watched any horror movies. So maybe me watching this movie, I can really tell what's gonna happen. And it's me with my brother just like chilling. We're just like watching this movie. My brother's like, that's gonna happen. I'm just like, dude, you know what? We've read our minds. That is exactly how it's gonna happen. And it does. There are times when the director just tricks you out. And at that time, I'm just like, oh shit, that's not gonna happen. And it just happens again. And I really, at that point, I just realized that the director wasn't really directing the same movie as what the writer wanted. The writer was just doing some other random shit. And really the director was trying to make it suspenseful, make it more dramatic, but really the writer just blew it all early and said, no movie, this is how it's gonna go, fuck the director. And that's when I just closed the line and said, the movie doesn't do much for me. It really doesn't. It's just a movie at that point. It's really, if you're gonna think about this and really watch this review and say, you know, I didn't learn shit from this, the main point I'm just trying to come across, if you like people getting tortured, if you like people in misery, and if you like the Saw movies even, enjoy this movie, because that's this movie. It's not anything else, and that's how it is. But me, I was kind of felt a little bit disappointed because I thought there was going to be a message maybe. I thought there was going to be something else behind it. Maybe something, an organization reveal, maybe a sequel. There are things that they leave at the end that just says, what is this organization? How it would have went down? At times I just wondered, characters are just stupid and just dumb and just expendable, just there, just to die. And I thought, why is that even in the movie? Maybe characters are dumb, maybe they are, but I'm just saying the way they're written is like they don't even use common sense. And at that point, I just think, what is the purpose of this movie? And honestly, that's why I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 10. It's a great attempt at making me suspense filled. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, but there was a time where I just had to step back and say, why am I watching this movie? Is it worth it? Is it not? And really, that's my problem with this movie. It is a good movie. It really is, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was a great time. Problem is that really at the end, when I was just walking back home or like, you know, thinking about this movie, just saying, okay, so how is this movie? I thought, I mean, you got no, and really I just teared it and tore it and just it tore it apart. And at that point I just thought I can really just dissect this movie and it'll be all gone to waste. And at that point I just have to stop and say, yeah, this movie was good, but it's not really the great. If you're gonna watch it, just turn off your brain and just enjoy it. You could have some enjoyment in it, and it's not horrible, it's not cringe fest. But I'm just saying that if you're looking for like an Insidious or I guess a Conjuring, you're not gonna get it here. Mainly because there's no ghosts, but mainly because there's no real suspense. You're really gonna suspect everything's gonna happen. And honestly, I got like 9 out of 10 right. Honestly, there's one part that just blew me, and that part is the one that's like, that part just really made me go out of shock. And also that part made me say, why did they do that? Like, they could have did something else with it. And hey, whatever the point is, I enjoyed this movie. It's to a point, but really I just gotta give it the true rating it deserves. It's a 5 out of 10. So did you watch this movie? Do you like the thriller horror movie type? Because honestly, after this one, I'm kind of enjoying the genre a little bit. Anyway, comment down below, let me know. As always, like this video, and as always, I'll let you know what's hot and what's not with movies, TV shows, and trailers. So as always, hit me up on my channel, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.